Hello and welcome into this week's edition of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Rewind Show. I'm Garth Allen. This is Racing News Now, and today we're talking about the Buckle Up South Carolina 200 from the Darlington Raceway, race number 9 of the 2023 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series season. And what a race this was. Darlington did not disappoint. It got a little messy near the end. We got a little bit of what we have come to expect from the truck series recently, with a good number of wrecks late in the race, but first two stages were actually really good racing. We saw a lot of real hard racing. We saw a lot of trucks slipping and sliding around. They were hard to control. We saw a lot of side-by-side racing. We saw passes for the lead. There was some really good racing in this race. Christian Eckes, Corey Heim, William Byron, all extremely fast in this race. Those were pretty much the dominant trucks throughout this race, and those really would be the trucks that it came down to at the end. Between the three of them, they led 155 of the race's 158 laps. Yes, 158 laps. We went 11 laps into overtime in this race. It was a wild one. Let's get down to some of the bigger points in this race. Lap 102 was the first caution really of note in this race. Coming off of turn number 2, you're going to see a gaggle of trucks here between the 56 of Timmy Hill, the 2 of Nick Sanchez, the 42 of Carson Hostovar, which was oh so great of a throwback. I love me some Dale Jarrett throwbacks, and this to me was best in show. This Carson Hostovar Brown Flames UPS throwback was chef's kiss. Dean Thompson also part of this pack. This pack, though, is more of a distraction than anything. They get a little out of sorts, but they're not the real wreck. As we come off of turn 2 here, look behind them as you'll see Matt Crafton get into Tyler Ankrum just a little bit. He slides up the track, gets into Zane Smith, and that would make an accordion effect where Zane would bounce off the wall into Colby Howard and Chase Purdy. All three would slam into the inside wall. Big damage for Chase Purdy and for Zane Smith. Colby Howard, I do believe, was able to continue after this point, but this would be the end of the night after hard hits for both Zane Smith and Chase Purdy. Very unfortunate. Oddly off night for Zane Smith. He was running back there outside the top 10, top 15 most of the night before this point. I'm not really sure what exactly happened to him in this race as to why he was that slow, but nevertheless, not a great night for Zane Smith. Now let's jump forward in the race. 34 laps to go. Carson Hostovar, Rajah Carruth battling into turn number 1, and Rajah just kind of slides up the track and turns Carson. Very weird incident here. I'm not quite ready to say that Rajah just completely dumped Carson, but it does look very strange as to how this went down and why this went down the way it did. I don't know that Rajah really had any reason to dump Carson in that situation. I hadn't seen anything, at least that TV had shown us before that point in the race, where they would have had beef with each other. So I don't really know what happened there. I'm going to chalk that up to just a racing incident. Rajah getting loose, sliding up the track, and getting into Carson. That might not be what it was, but honestly, I have no way of proving any intent there one way or another. So we're gonna say that wasn't intentional on Rajah's part, giving him the benefit of the doubt there. Fast forward to the end of the race. Corey Heim has gotten on some different pit strategy, and he is deep in the field. Overtime restart. Christian Eckes, Stuart Friesen on the front row. Christian Eckes has driven a beautiful race up to this point. Stage 1 winner, has led a lot of Stage 3, was leading coming down to the end of this race. They were coming off of turn number 4 to take the white flag. He had a good lead on William Byron in second. Rajah Carruth had caught them in third, but I don't think Carruth was going to have time to get to Eckes in that little bit if he had gotten around Byron. Eckes was really pretty safe, about 5 car lengths or so in front of William Byron as they came off of turn 4 to take the checkered flag, and then Timmy Hill spun to set up overtime, and then cautions bred cautions from there. We're going to jump to the final overtime restart here again with Eckes and Friesen on the front row, racing for the win. Big restart here for Corey Heim as he jumps way down there to the inside. You see on his fresh tires, he's going to pass a lot of trucks here into turn one, but unfortunately, jumping that low on the inside to turn 1 and 2, you'll see just before he goes out of the camera shot, he had no momentum whatsoever coming off of turn number 2 and could not go anywhere. The battle now is between Christian Eckes, Stuart Friesen, and Tanner Gray has broken away into third as they come off of turn number 4 to see the white flag. Eckes leads. Friesen, though, tracking him down. Infinger is in the wall. They throw the caution. Initially, the call was that they had not taken the white flag and that there was going to be another overtime. And then it turns out that Eckes had just taken the white flag when the caution flew. And Christian Eckes picks up win number 3 of his Truck Series career. A very good one. And I am here to say this is Christian Eckes' breakout race. He beat William Byron heads up in this race and then went 2 restarts in overtimes and beat the rest of the field and William Byron. William Byron had a very fast truck in that KBM number 51. Stout competition. Raja Carruth also very fast at the end of the race. Again, though, I don't think he was going to catch the 19 truck, even if he got around the 51, if we hadn't had those overtime restarts. Masterful drive from Christian Eckes, though. If this doesn't put him on the radar of some big teams going forward in Xfinity or Cup or wherever his next landing spot might be after MHR in the Truck Series, I don't know what will, because he proved tonight that he is the real deal. He beat a Cup Series race winner, one of the best drivers in the Cup Series this season, multiple race winner in 2023 in the Cup Series, in one of the best trucks in the field. He outraced him down the stretch, and had it not been for the overtimes, would have won the race. Still won the race by beating the rest of the field in these overtimes. Christian Eckes proved he is the real deal tonight. This is why I am such a big advocate for Cup drivers coming down into the lower series and racing with these guys. And this is why a lot of the drivers are advocates for this as well, because it lets guys like Christian Eckes shine when they can go out and beat these Cup Series regulars heads up in a duel for the win. Congrats to Christian Eckes. Big win. Honestly, I think out of his 3 wins so far, this is his biggest win. He showed tonight that he is the real deal. He showed tonight that he deserves to be in this sport, and he deserves to be up front in good equipment racing for wins. So let's take a look at your results from this race from Darlington. Of course, Christian Eckes is your winner. Stuart Friesen came home in the 2nd position. Tanner Gray, another great run for him. He has been a lot faster this season than he has in past seasons. It's been a good season so far for Tanner Gray. I wouldn't be surprised to see him win a race before the end of the season the way he has been running. William Byron fell to 4th in those final restarts. Carson Hostovar, even after getting spun late, came back for a top 5 finish in his very beautiful Dale Jarrett throwback. I'm going to keep mentioning that as much as I can because honestly, that was the best throwback of this race to me. Fantastic scheme. Rest of your top 10, Raja Carruth. He would have been 3rd, if not 2nd, had the overtimes not happened. Fell all the way to 6th after the craziness of these overtime restarts. Bubba Wallace in the number 1 car for Tricon Garage came home in 7th. Corey Heim only able to get back up to 8th at the end of the race. Dean Thompson, good run for him in 9th. And Caden Honeycutt in the 20 for Young's Motorsports came home in the 10th position. So again, want to congratulate Christian Eckes on this big win. Like I said, I truly believe this is the biggest win of his career for what he was able to go out and prove tonight in this race, that he can go out and he can race with the likes of William Byron, and he can beat the likes of William Byron when William Byron is at his best. So let's take a look at your playoff grid following this race. 9 races into the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series season. Eckes reassumes the top of the playoff grid now in the 2-win category with 3 more playoff points than Zane Smith. Such playoff grid following the Buckle Up South Carolina 200 from the Darlington Raceway, and I believe that will do it for us on this Truck Series Rewind show. As long as the ARCA race happens tonight, there should be an ARCA East Rewind tomorrow morning on Sunday morning. Seems that the weather is a bit up in the air in Nashville. At the time of recording, as far as I'm aware, the race is still on, but it is not looking great, so we'll see what happens with that. Maybe a Monday morning ARCA Rewind show, or could be tomorrow morning, depending on when the race happens. So just keep an eye out for that. And then, of course, Rookie Stripes coming up this week as well. That's going to about do it for us. We'll see you tomorrow or Monday or whenever the next day after the ARCA race is. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the Xfinity and Cup races from Darlington and everything else happening this weekend in the world of motorsports. But at that, this has been the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Rewind Show. I'm Garth Allen for Racing News Now.